Hello, car lovers driving the 2024 Subaru Outback Wilderness. What to say about this vehicle?
The 2024 Subaru Outback is mildly refreshed. Of all the Subarus, it is the one that seems to change the least since I began reviewing cars. The look is up to you, there's no denying the design delivers on interior space. Standard roof rails make storing things on top of a Subaru Outback easier. Standard also is the EyeSight driving system. A good driving assist really makes traffic easier. There are 7 trims to engines. The first 4 trims are naturally aspirated engines. The latter 3 trims are turbocharged. Unlike Ross, who prefers the turbocharged engine, my first choice is the Onyx for $43,000, which comes with a base engine and HK sound system. That is good enough and a decent value. Our tester is the Wilderness that goes for $47,000, but you do get the big engine. Both of these are subject to Quebec's registration tax for the envious. This vehicle is hard to love if the exterior bothers you. However, this has got to be one of the most convenient interior spaces I have ever been in. Great windows, nice seats, good sound system, decent rear seat room, and also a nice trunk. Also, don't forget the best all-wheel drive system, very useful in Quebec with long winters. Subaru makes snow disappear, especially with good winter tires. Standard engine is a boxer 4-cylinder that produces 182 horsepower and 176 pounds of torque for 9.2 liters in the city and 7.3 liters on the highway. The turbo 4-cylinder produces 260 horsepower and 277 pounds of torque for 10.6 liters in the city and 8.1 liters on the highway. All come with CVTs.
Well, I've reviewed this vehicle, I think, quite a few times, and there's very few changes from version to version. I don't feel like there's a world of difference. Subaru is very fussy about that. Their vehicles tend to evolve rather than revolutionize, if you want. So we'll start with the exterior styling, which is its asset and its flaw. So if you like, it's kind of like the quintessential Subaru language, the exterior styling. So if you like it, that's great. But if you're not a Subaru fan like myself, I don't think it's very pretty. It's sort of like this weird station wagon SUV that's raised. It looks awkward, and that's what I have to say about that. Though some people love it, and that is fine. That's a personal thing, by the way. So, but however, that shape translates well on the inside. We'll start with one of the probably the key Subaru characteristic. This wonderful greenhouse here. Subarus have such wonderful outward visibility. I can't stress that enough, how it makes the daily grind so much easier. In fact, this is a daily grind vehicle. The control weights are very soft. The engine is quite smooth. It has a little bit of racket, but it's smooth in its disposition, as is the CVT. We have here very comfortable seats. We have the Harnum Kardon sound system. We have good space here in front. We have good space in back. We have a wonderful trunk. Very functional. This is very high level. This has been thought over, and they're not going to change it because it works so well, that aspect. On the interior, things that are not working for me, well, I find it's becoming dated. I would say this is probably the most dated interior of the group. They've redone the infotainment. Now everything looks like the Legacy. Before we had the Legacy with that big screen in the middle. Now all the Subaru seems to have that kind of like big 11 or 12 inch screen here in the middle, done vertically instead of like horizontally or landscape, I should rather say. It works very well. The buttons are huge. It's okay. I have no problem with it. The climate control is part of the infotainment, which is, I guess, a lot of people are doing that now. I guess these infotainments are becoming more and more reliable. They feel comfortable doing that. The dash, not digital. The classic Subaru. This looks like an Impreza. So does the steering wheel. And that's what I have to say about this interior. This interior, listen, it's very functional, and I can't complain about it. And it contributes to the peace of mind, because I think a lot of Subarus buyers, they want the familiar, right? When you come into this vehicle, immediately you pick up on the core tasks are very easy to pick up on. So it's user-friendly more than its rivals in that respect. However, I would say that it's getting long in tooth, and that's especially, it might be a problem for people who do leases, right? If you lease for 48 months, usually when you're done your lease, you want the new vehicle, you want the new thing. And when you're stepping back into a new Subaru, it looks like the old Subaru, right? There's not that big change in different models, which may be a problem for some, I guess. But for others, it's not a problem. They love their Subarus. The all-wheel drive system, especially if you live in a winter climate, the all-wheel drive system is really the best. Like, it's better than others. You don't feel winter. Snow comes down. If you have good winter tires, you'll just take off from the red light, no problem. So that's really reassuring, and I think this vehicle becomes better in terms of its value according to your winter season. So, for example, I don't think they sell many Subarus in Florida, but they do sell a lot in Quebec because there is a lot of snow. So, really well adapted on that level. An interesting bet that the company made on the all-wheel drive, and it's paying off in at least in the winter climates. A few little things. 10 years ago, Subarus were kind of like little shit boxes on the highway. Now, this one rides very smoothly on the highway. It's very comfortable. Not a lot of wind or road noise. So it's actually quite an improvement. It's now in the pack, I would say, comfortable in the pack. And also that ease of driving, it's wonderful driving a Subaru. Every time, it almost surprises me every time when I get into a Subaru, because there are cars that are not on my radar. And, that's what I have to say about the driving experience. Ross makes the remark, there is missing a hybrid option on these. At least in the province of Quebec, I'm being very Quebec-centric here when I make these comments. We know who we live with. We know where we live. The price of gas is not coming down anytime soon. My goodness, one of my friends was telling me in Alberta, the price of regular was $1.09. Here it's $1.50 something. So it's not going down. So the fuel economy does hurt, at least in terms of the urban driving. I'm sure you're going to get 14, 15, 16 liters per 100 kilometers, as with all SUVs who have no hybrid system. And that's going to be like, it will increase the cost of ownership, at least in the highly taxed jurisdictions, which is Canada. So those are my thoughts on the very good Subaru Outback. By the way, if you like this review, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. And if you really like it, well then of course, you should subscribe. And that is it.